Today is the last day of 2020. And yet, it's just another day. Or is it? Or is it? How many of you noticed that you woke up this morning? Or that you are already breathing? Or that you were conscious or cognizing? Right? Or notice that those moments between lying there, right? Waking up and not doing anything other than just lying there breathing. Did you notice those? All right. It's like that. Before you've even spoken a word, there's so much potential for us to appreciate these little moments. And we want to do that. If those moments come into view, if they do, let's try to notice and appreciate them. Let's try to be grateful. That kind of noticing, noticing when things are running smoothly, is an aspect of sila. This is sila, cultivating the wholesome. And this is good food for the heart. Sila trains the heart to notice and feel harm, and it trains the heart to notice and feel non-harm. What does harm look like and feel like? What does non-harm, what does safety look like and feel like? Let's turn the lens towards speech and let's take a closer look at the sila of speech. So like a doctor would attend, and remember that the Buddha's teachings were likened to a doctor's assessment, intervention, and monitoring of health and well-being. We take an inventory of where we are. We observe ourselves and see what we say and do and think and feel. We see our natural abilities and appreciate them and bring them along. We want to do that. And we want to start to notice the ways in which we naturally speak kindly to ourselves and to others, or to our pets, or to our plants, or Mother Nature. I walk around the house all day long, speaking, lovely little words of affection to our four-leggeds. I talk lovely little words to our plants. That's just what I do. And I notice, if you can stop and notice these little moments when you're speaking, just a lovely little kind word to your pet. Can you pause and notice and take that in? That counts. But as we take stock, we also want to take stock, and we'll likely come into and notice areas that could benefit from some closer attention. And this is where mindful reflection, I think, is a very useful practice for us. Because so often we catch ourselves in the act of speaking unskillfully, or after the fact, right? Mindful reflection kind of goes like this. After having an upsetting conversation, you might go air yourself out, move the body, breathe, loosen up some of the gross tension, release some of the restless energy, and then sit yourself down and set mindfulness to the fore. So get out of your scrappy mood and just try to orient toward that kind of friendly, caring attention. And then bring the situation forward and let it play before you from a safe distance so that you can sort of see and feel the cause and effect aspect. Sense into the complexity of the moment. Stand in your shoes, see how it feels there. Stand in the other person's shoes, see how it feels over there. Notice the intent. Notice the impact. They're not the same. Notice. And then let go. Let go of right and wrong and just feel the harm, the intentional and the unintentional harm. Feel the harm because that's how we learn. You're still a good person. Mindfulness, kind eyes are watching over this process now, not you, no judgment. Mindfulness is just interested to see the cause and effect so that we can learn. So we honor what was, we hold what is, and we slowly steer out of harm's way toward the arms of safety and care. This is what the practice of mindfulness does, and what the sila aspect of mindfulness does. It helps us to grow more sensitive, more empathetic to the slings and arrows of our words and actions. Words are potent. But we modern day folk, we've grown a bit more casual and freer in our speech. We have not necessarily been taught the potency of words, but sila practice invites us to do just that. And this is a new skill. And whenever we're learning a new skill or unlearning an old one, we, by default, will catch ourselves about to, or in the act of, or after the fact, speaking unskillfully. You could say that we learn backwards, that we slowly back out of our bad habits, our unhelpful, harmful habits. In other words, we want to catch ourselves in the act of speaking unskillfully, or just after. We want to, because this is how we'll learn. Through trial and error, lots of practicing, lots of errors, lots of fumbles, lots of complete misses. Just like kids learn. We're learning by stepping into it, not once, but many times, so that finally, we can notice the ouch, and finally, we can feel it. When was the last time that you said something you knew was a bit of a pinprick, but you said it anyway? Think about that. When was the last time you said something like that, that you knew was going to just tweak the other person a little bit, but you decided to do it? What does it feel like? We know what it feels like. But often, we don't necessarily want to sort of land there and be with it. But we want to get it. We want to learn and notice that we keep putting our foot in our mouth when we should have stayed quiet, or that we should have kept our mouth shut, or that we kept our mouth shut and we should have spoken up. Or we might notice finally the thinly veiled ache that flashes across a dear friend's face, momentarily stunned, offended, destabilized by the unexpected slight we lobbed over their fence that was intended or not, right? We want to notice those things. Oh, but wait a minute. You did catch that flash across your friend's face. Oh, my. If you noticed that, that's wonderful news. Please catch the flash of recognition. See it. Feel the effect when you say something a little unskillful and you see that flash across someone else's face. Learn from that. That is how we grow more empathetically attuned to what's really happening. Mind you, it doesn't feel good when we cause harm, but that's the point. Suffering doesn't feel good, and the truth of it will hurt us. But if we don't feel this, if we don't sense the hurt, we're apt to repeat it. We're thick, we're stubborn, we're set in our ways, and we need to remember to be reminded, not once, but many times, before we really get it, before the arrow sinks into this heart enough that I can see it and feel the ouch that I've caused myself or someone else. What is it like when you hear unskillful speech, when you hear harsh words being spoken, either at you, or you happen to be standing by in the street, or you're watching on the screen two people fighting? What does it feel like in your body to see people fighting? Feel it. Get to know that. Pause long enough to feel the effect. Breathe it out, let it go, but get to know that. It's important. And it's also important to highlight the fact that those closest to us and those most distant are typically our most challenging people. They either try our patience for frequency or proximity, right? They're so close to us, right? Or they challenge our sensitivity to care because the distance makes them seem less real or less important. For those of you who like to practice with metta, loving kindness phrases and categories of beings, well, you may wish to be curious about the folks you put in the neutral category. Neutral is not as bland as it may appear to be. Practice has shown me that. And we have a real living example here with social media, which, for better and for worse, has brought the world not just into our living rooms as the TV did, but into our hands, anytime, any place, any moment. With a few clicks, our reach is global, and our community is now global. Neutral is a harder position to hold when we see the immediate live footage of protests, war, and murder. We can no longer claim innocence or ignorance. The world is our village. We have a voice that can speak to a friend who's 6 feet apart or halfway around the world. Heck, look at us, at this Sangha. My goodness, we are a community that has risen out of thin air, whose reach is at times as far away as Indonesia, and often includes Europe, Latin America, Asia, and across the states. In other words, wow, you are not neutral to me anymore. You are real. I care about you, your safety, and your well-being. And I feel all of us sitting here together, right? Isn't it so that somehow this gathering around together each day matters, and that we start to really care about coming and about showing up and about each other's joys and sorrows? Breathe with that. Vibe with that. That is sila. That is the sukha of sila, the good feelings, the uplift, the joy of non-harm. We've witnessed a transformation from all of us seeing each other as strangers to something that's a bit more connected, to a sense of community, of like-minded beings who offer and receive support to each other. Well, this is pure goodness. This is fresh organic food for the heart. Oh my goodness. I think that's what this year has brought all of us, actually. That we're all more sober, that reality seems more real, the harshness of extremes stands starkly in our face, and in the middle of all of that, in the middle of the chaos, in the middle of this ache, we keep building a temple of love. We keep erecting a tent of goodwill, creating a port in the storm based on sila, on words and actions that are oriented towards non-harm. Breathe with that recognition. It's for your welfare. It's the sukha that arises when sila is upheld. Now, can we bring this forward? Can we keep this in view? Can this be our New Year's resolution? To use the vernacular? Isn't that what resolution is, but an intention to move towards something? All right, let's keep non-harm in view as we speak and act. That's a good idea. And then let's bask in the sukha of that. We can do this. It's for our welfare, for yours and mine.